What's going on, everyone? It is the Derf. You guys asked, and I am answering. Hunter's time in the sun has come finally, and I've got an absolutely busted build that features the new exotic third iteration. This build is absolutely wild when you consider all the different things that synergize inside this build. It has amazing DPS potential. It has amazing super generation. It has unlimited orbs of power generation. And oh, by the way, in case you can't tell by the screen, tons of invisibility is on deck. So we're going to find a way to take advantage of all of that into a convenient package that puts together what I think is one of the better hunter builds. And as you guys are leveling up, doing your power grind, this build will only theoretically get more powerful. So hunters, this one is for you, and this is by request. Here we go.
Yeah, boy!
To get started on our third iteration hunter build, we of course got to go with our supers. Silk Strike is my personal preference for general content. Swing the rope dart in front of you to deal damage. The tip of the dart can do bonus damage. Defeat targets with the tip can cause them to explode. And then swing the rope dart in a circular motion with heavy damage all around you. You can also use your grapple to move forward quickly. This is a perfect one for crowd control. And if you are doing general content or you're just doing some leveling up, but you're not trying to reach the peaks of difficulty in the process, Silk Strike is perfect. It also is a roaming super, so you're going to get bonus energy back. It's also going to pair with the artifact in our fragments, which I'll get through here in a couple of minutes. If you are going through harder content, Shadow Shot Deadfall is an excellent option for this as well. It will buff with your fragments and our exotic class item that we're going to be showcasing as well. Tether foes to Void Anchor, weakening and suppressing them for you and allies. Void Anchors fired from Shadow Shot pull targets toward the impact point, which then become traps and wait for prey. Void Anchors have increased range and last longer. Weaken, of course, targets take more damage, which is helpful in harder content. And suppression stuns overload champions. So either one of these two are going to be great. If you want your super more often, I recommend Silk Strike. If you want the increased damage capability from your weapons and to suppress champs, such as overload champs, obviously, go ahead and put on Shadow Shot Deadfall. Both will work with this build. For abilities, I recommend Gambler's Dodge so that you can gain your melee energy back quicker. I prefer the triple jump, and I go back and forth on this one. Combination blow is nice because when you defeat targets with this, you gain class ability energy, which is important if you are a hunter in general, which is why we have the Gambler's Dodge on. So that's my personal recommendation. Of course, you can go with the tried and true Withering Blade if you prefer. And for our grenade, we're going to be going with grapple. I'm not going to be using a grenade in the true sense of the word. I am going to be using grapple melees with this build, which will increase my invisibility and increase my overall potency on the battlefield. For aspects, we're going to go with Stylish Executioner. Defeat a target affected by any elemental debuff, grants invisibility, and true sight, After performing a Stylish Execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens targets. So again, you can pair this with Combination Blow and Gambler's Dodge. As you deal damage, you can do a cyclical melee style kind of killing spree, if you will, where you're constantly going invisible, constantly gaining class ability energy, so you're refreshing your melee, and of course, it's just going to go through and through. And that's on top of what we're going to be able to do with our weapons. For our second aspect, I personally like Ascension. However, you can make argument for Gunpowder Gamble, and I'll explain why. If you are not someone that remembers that you have Ascension equipped as you are running Hunter, and yes, I am talking about myself, I'm not a Hunter main anymore. So sometimes when I'm going through gameplay, I'm so used to doing different things with my other characters that I forget, oh, I've got Ascension on, which can jolt overload champions. So for me personally, Ascension, I really like it, but if I keep feeling like I'm forgetting it on the battlefield, which ironically during the gameplay, you didn't see me pop Ascension once, yeah, that's because I forgot about it. So apologies on that, but that is where if you find yourself forgetting that you have that class ability energy to use up, You could go with Gunpowder Gamble. You gain an additional fragment slot. You get the solar explosive grenade as you're dealing precision damage. Because you're going to be debuffing enemies regularly, this would still fare well with both Shadow Shot and Silk Strike. So depending on how you are as a hunter, if you are using every single one of your abilities, you're mainly only sticking to a couple of them like me, or if you're like me and you forget that you have Ascension equipped because you're not a hunter main, you're just trying to get from point A to point B and level all your characters up and do different things, etc., etc. Maybe you're trying to get the new exotic armor or whatever. Gunpowder Gamble might be a great option for you because you're going to be debuffing targets regularly with your weapons anyways, as well as your combination blows, as well as your grapple melees. So you theoretically could benefit from either one of these, or if you just want a third fragment slot option. For fragments, fast of purpose, number 1 on the list, picking up an orb of power grants either Woven Mail or Overshield, depending on the super of choice. Woven Mail, your body is encased in a protective mesh of tightly woven strand matter, greatly reducing any incoming non-precision damage. So that's good. Overshield, you are armored with a protective barrier of void light, reduces damage taken from combatants. Both of those are damage reduction options. When we get into the artifact, I'll kind of go over what I like more and why, but faceted purpose, numero uno, -10 to class stat, so that's kind of a bummer, but no big deal. We'll fix that here once we get to the armor. Next up, we have Facet of Balance, rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy, which is good. Rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grants grenade energy, also good. Facet of Awakening, number 3, rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows, generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. So, depending on which ones that you have, you could theoretically have Fire Sprites. When you pick up Fire Sprites, they grant grenade energy. Ionic Traces, when picked up, Ionic Traces grant ability energy. Void Breaches, when picked up, Void Breaches grant class ability energy. And, of course, Tangles. When you pick up Tangle, you can throw it and continue the carnage that way. +10 to health, which is good. You need as much health as possible. Last but not least, and I go back and forth on this as well, Facet of Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. While Transcendent, the effect is increased. Now, you can make a case for Facet of Protection. You can make a case for Facet of Bravery because we're going to be using Strand. We're going to be using our melee. We're going to be using, all these different things that could potentially translate to Facet of Bravery. You could also make an argument for Facet of Dawn. If you do, you're going to have to adjust your armor a little bit because it is -10 to melee. You could make an argument for Facet of Honor. Collecting an elemental pickup gives you Transcendence of the same type, which gives you a bump to melee as well. But I think given the aggressive nature of this hunter build, Facet of Protection is probably your best bet here. For stat distribution, I recommend speccing into super, grenade, and weapons in that order. Now, weapons or melee, if you can get both of those up to a T8 like I've got, you're going to have increased ability regen comparatively to having a 100 level stat pre-Edge of Fate. So just remember that. Also keep in mind that your combination blow at a T7 is something like 25 seconds or something like that. It's something crazy low. So at 8, I think it drops down to, here, I'll verify it right now. Yeah, 19 seconds. So if you don't get this thing all the way up to 100, I mean, no big deal, right? 19 seconds, punch an enemy, use an ability, kill a couple enemies with your weapons, and you got your ability energy back. And that doesn't count if you pick up an Orb of Power or anything. Your grenade, 38 seconds plus 190% regen rate. 38 seconds. Again, you cycle this through your combination blow and your ascension and all that. Yeah, you're getting that back in under 30 seconds. And then your weapons, you get a plus 12% if you're at a T8, and reload and handling bump up 8%. So trying to round yourself out as best you can. Class ability stat at 40. It's not the greatest, but it is what it is. We have a fix for that in our armor. But yeah, grenade or super, grenade, and weapons in that order, because your grenade is the longest cool down ability, and your melee, of course, is probably your shortest. For weapons, in the kinetic slot, I recommend Mint Retrograde, Festival Flight, Qua Nihilus, or yes, even the Call, depending on what kind of activity that you are going with. Mint Retrograde is nice. It does pierce barrier champs, but our energy weapon is going to be doing that as well, so we'll go through some different options. Qua Nihilus is nice if you're going to be dealing with champs, because you can take advantage of the artifact perk. And yes, if you are dealing with the other champ, the Call can fit the bill for that as well. Now in the energy slot, third iteration, Tri-Planner Mass Driver fires a spread of void energy projectiles, aiming down sight, narrows the spread. We are going to be using this to deal as much precision damage as possible. So for you running gunners out there, that means, yes, you're going to have to take another second or two of time to let the sights focus. That might be an adjustment for some of you. It was an adjustment for me because I'm constantly just running and gunning. I'm not really concerned about precision damage and all that on most of my builds because I'm using splash damage or different buffs or whatever, but it's going to play a huge role. Amalgamation rounds, aiming down sight for a short period without firing, compresses the spread into a single high-density projectile, damaging the target with this shot, marks them. This is another reason why you're going to have to wait an extra second. This weapon deals additional damage to marked targets, defeating a marked target or landing a precision final blow with an amalgamation round, grants invisibility and true sight. We're going to be taking advantage of invisibility twice now, once from Stylish Executioner and once from third iteration. So you're going to theoretically be invisible constantly. And of course, if you do not have the catalyst is awesome. Precision final blows cause targets to detonate into a weakening blast. Is this as good as destabilizing rounds? No, but remember, destabilizing rounds, you need a fast-firing weapon anyways. Think of Reckless Oracle. Oops, I might be talking about that here in a second. Or like, Age-Old Bond, things like that. You need a faster-firing weapon than a 200-round-per-minute scout rifle with, let's be honest, not the greatest of reload speed. So a weakening blast is arguably better because you get it every time. In the heavy slot, I highly recommend Pro Memoria, not only because you get the increase in super regen if you want with the dealer's choice perks, but with reconstruction bait and switch, you get an additional 30% damage when you proc bait and switch, which is key because Pro Memoria is not a featured weapon, so you don't get any bonus damage from the artifact for this weapon. For the armor, we're going to go through the exotic class item first. Up on number one on the list, Spirit of Galanor. Hits and final blows with your super will return super energy after it ends. This is why going with Silk Strike or our Void Super is going to be awesome because we will get up to, I believe it's 30 or 35% super energy back. It used to be 50, but of course, Bungie likes to take fun away from the community, so they nerfed it a little bit. Again, starting off with an extra 30% of super energy means you have to kill a lot less and freak out a lot less on the battlefield, wondering when you're going to get your super energy back to full capacity. I also recommend Spirit of Gerfalcon since we are running with third iteration. Your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible. This does not have a cooldown. You're getting volatile rounds every single time you emerge from being invisible, which means, yes, volatile rounds coming out of third iteration on top of third iteration proccing weakening, and of course, marking targets means what? Oh yeah, you're going to be dealing a buttload more of damage. So Spirit of Gerfalcon and Spirit of Galanor, you shouldn't have issues getting strange coins from Xur now. So during the week, as you're leveling up, you're getting those strange coins as you're completing those activities. Save them. You can buy up to, I think it's 5 class items with a focus from Ghost on Pale Heart. Spirit of Galanor, focus on Spirit of Gerfalcon first, and hopefully you can get one rolled with Spirit of Galanor. That way you can take advantage of both supers. For the rest of the armor, go ahead and spec into whatever general armor mod you need. In the helmet, go ahead and throw on a heavy ammo finder for your Pro Memoria. Make sure you have a Void Siphon and a Harmonic Siphon equipped as well. For the gauntlets, we want to have 2 impact inductions because we're going to be using grapple melees, and make sure that grapple melee is heavy-handed or is matched up with your heavy-handed. So that way you can spawn an orb of power every 10 seconds. For the chest, go ahead and throw on 2 damage resistances, and I know I have this blank, but put on whatever general or whatever ammo mod that you need. Here, I'll just do it right now because apparently I forgot to do that before the start of this video. But you get the idea. Go ahead and spec into strand ammo generation so that you can get increased ammo regen for your strand weapons. For the legs, go ahead and throw on Absolution, Invigoration, and Innervation. All 3 of these will buff your ability energy regen. You could make an argument to take off Invigoration for another Innervation because, like we went over, 19 seconds at a T8 for your cooldown for your combination blow melee is absolutely ridiculous, but whatever you guys prefer. Lastly, go ahead and throw on Outreach, Reaper, and Class Font. You could make an argument instead of having Outreach, you could throw on oh my goodness, I am blanking. Hold on. Instead of Outreach, you could throw on Bomber. Man, I can't believe I forgot that. But you get the idea. You get your grenade back faster, which means you get your grapple back faster. The reason I have Outreach on here is when I use my class ability anyways, I'm going to be jumping right into punching an enemy all over again since I'm going to refresh my melee energy. So I just figured the 2 go together like PB and J. For the artifact, go ahead and throw on Anti-Barrier, Scout, and Pulse. Put on Unstoppable Sidearm and Hand Cannon, and yes, you're going to need Overload, Rapid Fire. Just depends on what champs you're dealing with, but you will have all 3 covered. In the second slot, Flame, Fiber, and Freeze. This is kind of a throwaway. You could make an argument for Diviner's Discount, but I have this on here because I'm switching between different builds, so I'm taking advantage of this perk here elsewhere. But you do want Tightly Woven. While Woven Mail is active, gain increased class ability and grenade stats. This is why I like Silk Strike the most because I'm going to be proccing Woven Mail frequently. Rapid Precision Rifling. Rapid Precision hits or final blows with scout rifles grants them increased reload speed and reduced incoming flinch. The reduced incoming flinch is key here because, as you know, you have to wait an extra second for your 3rd iteration to aim down sight. Anyways, hopefully you're invisible while you're waiting for 3rd iteration to aim down sight. But if you are not, you will have, you'll have some flinch from incoming fire while you're waiting. This reduces that. Refreshing Threats. Picking up an elemental pickup, matching your subclass element or tangles while you have a strand. Super grants energy to your lowest charge ability. No brainer. I want my ability energy back. Reciprocal Draw. I have this on here in case I do run with the Call. Rapid non-sidearm final blows grant sidearms a period of increased damage for a short time upon next draw. Elemental Coalescence in the 4th column. Defeating targets has a chance to create an elemental pickup matching your equipped super element. Doesn't matter what element weapon you're using, you will get the super element elemental pickup. Threaded Blast. Destroying a tangle with strand damage. Increases the radius of the explosion and its damage. So you shoot those tangles you generate with your grapple melee. Boom, you have an increase in the explosion and damage. In the 5th column, we're going to go with Shield Crush. While you have Woven Mail or Void Overshield, your melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. Again, we're dealing with a 19-second cooldown melee, so with Shield Crush, let's just call it 10 seconds. Heck, let's just call it instant, because that's essentially what it is at this point. And then if you have Ascension, you can have Woven Mail and Amplified, or I guess theoretically Radiant too if you want, depending on if you have Faceted Dawn, and that will increase the recharge rate of your grenade, which of course means more grapple melees. Elemental Overdrive, I think, is going to be perfect for this. Picking up an elemental pickup or tangle grants increased damage to weapons of the same element. So whether you are picking up tangles and you're going back to your strand weapons, or you're picking up void breaches and you're, of course, continuing to mow down the competition with your 3rd iteration, you get increased damage to both elements, which I think is a win here. So one of the reasons I think you should try this build is, hey, 3rd iteration is a weapon that you have to spec into. So in order to spec into it, you have to pick and choose what kind of perks and what kind of armors you want. Now, it's true, the exotic class item does not get a damage resistance buff. For reference here, I get 4 out of 5 damage resistances from having armor from this season. You can see the green icons in the upper left-hand corner. I get a little extra bump from my kinetic weapon damage because it is of course, a tier 1 or tier 2 mint retrograde. And then you get a plus 10% to energy slot damage. Again, plus 10% there, and then you get a plus 12% there. So an extra 22% damage for your third iteration. Plus, we haven't even talked about what the artifact gives you, which we just went over. Well, I guess technically we have gone over it, but you get what I mean. All these damages, this is all speccing into what you can do with your third iteration. Now, would I recommend this build on a overthrow, type style play? Probably not if you're going through the Pale Heart. But if you're doing an onslaught activity where you're seeing all kinds of champs and you've got beefy enemies and you're trying to spam abilities, yeah, this build's going to hold up just fine. And oh, by the way, when you get to the boss room, yeah, you don't run out of ammo with your third iteration either. Anyways, if you did find anything helpful with this video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you know a hunter out there who's trying to create a build surrounding their third iteration or their love for third iteration and isn't quite sure how to incorporate it, go ahead and send this video to them or send them my way. My goal is to help as many people as possible. As always, I will have a dim link in the description of the video. And if by chance you are looking for a non-toxic gaming community, I highly recommend hopping into my Discord. It is booming right now. Lots of people on the power grind, lots of people offering to help others, get to their next level or complete campaigns on all 3 characters. All kinds of good things. We've even got some that are doing the master content clears for the titles and or triumphs, I should say. So if you are looking for that group, go ahead and hop in. A lot of great people in there to help you along the way. So I'm going to switch over to the boss fight where you can again see me forget that Ascension exists on this build, and then I'll wrap it up. So here we go, boss damage time. Now, one of the great things about this build is you can start off a boss encounter in the portal activities or whatever activities you are finding by just simply laying into them with third iteration. That weakening marking that it leaves behind as long as you have that critical hit really just kind of sets the tone, in my opinion, for what you're trying to do overall. You can see, the true sight is so nice on this build, and if you look at the left hand screen, just look at the things flashing. We've got ability regen, we've got true sight. You can see I just laid in. For some reason I decided I wanted to punch that rock, so that was nice. But you get the idea. You can approach all of your encounters however you want. Now, do you want to, start off with third iteration? Do you want to jump right into your super? How do you want to do what you want to do? And every time that you become invisible, it's kind of a break in the action. So becoming coming out of invisibility, when you have volatile rounds with your third iteration constantly procced, it's just a really nice quality of life thing to have. And hunters are already known as being kind of militant, militia style fighters in the game. You're constantly weaving in and out of battle, you're dodging. Of course, if you're me, you forget Ascension exists, so you have yet to see that because, again, I don't really know what I was doing or what I was thinking, which is why I gave the alternative to that other aspect. But you see what I mean. There's nothing really out there that a hunter can't do as long as you outfit them correctly. Now, in my opinion, hunters do not get the same kind of love that warlocks and titans do. And maybe it's just because hunters are more weapon-oriented than ability-oriented, but you kind of get the idea. If you are a hunter main, you're going to find benefits for this build, probably above and beyond even what I have come up with. So anyways, thank you guys for checking out the video. Hope this helps somebody out there. I will see you guys next time. Take care.